Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the August MSMF Wealth Management Podcast. Thanks, Cody. Thanks, Jay, for joining me again today. Today, I want to talk about one of my pet peeves, which I think is yours as well. And it's this constant debate of, are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession?
Right.
And I know you don't pay attention to too much broadcast media, a little bit, but I broadcast print, social media, and I'm kind of tired of the argument. I'm kind of tired of the reframing by the White House of calling it a transition. Yes, I realize we're in a midterm election year. Nobody wants to be associated with the recession. And there is arguments about the calculation, yay or nay. I don't really care about any of that today. I want to throw official and formal out the window, and I want to talk about practical. I want to use common sense, although as my father used to say, sense is not all that common. But let's dive into it. Let's stay on our right brain. Let's talk about things that we talk about, practically speaking, that we share with our clients. And Jay, I'm going to start with you. Regardless of whether we're officially in it or not in it, how did we get to this point today in August of 2022?
Perfect. So I think the biggest reason we're even talking about recession right now is because of interest rates are going up, right? And that's a direct response to the inflation numbers being as high as they have been. So what has really caused that? What's got us there is, in my opinion, government spending. Over the last 2 years, in response directly to COVID and everything else, we've poured around $5 trillion into our economy, directly created by the Fed, put right into the economy, right? So I believe that that's really where a lot of this inflation is coming from. It's dealing with, okay, we got this huge lump of money poured into it. That means everything has to go up in price. The second part of it is really kind of, if you look at the labor market, when we shut everything down for COVID, it's trying to open everything back up. They thought it would be, let's just shut it down for 2 weeks and then we'll reopen it. Yeah, right.
2 weeks to flatten the curve?
2 weeks, flatten the curve. We'll all go right back to normal. And no, we are well over 2 years past that. And I believe this is still a part of that, is trying to figure out what to do in response to that. For example, Amazon at the beginning of COVID had around 800,000 employees. That's a lot. But in response to that, you close everything down. A lot of people went to e-shopping. A lot of people left their jobs maybe in service markets where they couldn't go to work. They were not essential. Well, they had to make money somehow, so maybe they went to Amazon and were hired. Amazon doubled their workforce. They're now they added another 800,000 employees. So they doubled. They're at 1.6 million employees. So that's just an example of kind of the tightening and why we're talking about a recession.
Right, and I would agree, Jay, that the certainly the spending, some of it was necessary. I'm not going to sit here and say I personally believe it was all necessary, but you said this before, and you've used this analogy that the economy was turned off like a light switch and turned back on like a dimmer switch.
Right.
And I don't know that anyone knew the full implications and fallout of that, and we're still dealing with it, and it's a major part of how we got here in August of 2022.
Sure.
So, Cody, we're here. What is the effect? Let's just say we're practically in a recession, because I feel like I've been in one since back before the beginning of the year. What's the practical effect that you feel, that your family feels, that all of your clients feel?
Yeah, I think it's the fear of losing a job. I think probably comes the number one thing. Although we're not seeing that right now. We're record low employment of still 3.6%, 2 job openings for every 1 person unemployed. GDP goes down 2 quarters in a row. So technically we're there. If we change the definition, technically we're not there. So it depends on who you're asking, right? Government spending goes up. I think we can all agree it hasn't gone down. And usually with that, we start seeing actually interest rates go down, so it kind of spurs growth. Well, we're seeing the opposite, right? We're seeing interest rates continue to go up because of inflation, because the economy was too hot. Mm-hmm. So I think certainly an anomaly of a year. And another factor is most of the time, but not all the time, stock prices go down. We've seen that already this year since the beginning of the year. And typically, so hard assets like homes would go down in value, although that's still a supply-demand issue from the COVID. So things that, yes, could indicate a recession, but there's also things that certainly don't indicate one.
Yeah, and it's, again, the whole argument, but at the end of the day, it feels like it, from a practical perspective, heck with it, it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jay, let's get down to the ground zero level. You're sitting across the table, talking to your clients. What is it you're seeing, the day-to-day impact that your clients are feeling with this situation we find ourselves in?
Sure. I think to put it short, how do I pay for this? Right? I mean, it's affecting us all on our monthly expenses because things are going up. So, interesting stat from Fox Business, credit card debt is up 13% annually. It's the largest surge since 1999. That's a pretty big indicator that, wow, things are costing more and we're trying to figure out how to pay for it. Another one, if you look at the STL Fed, the personal savings rate is down to 5.1% for June. That's the lowest since our last Great Depression back in 2009.
Recession. Correct. You said depression.
Okay, recession.
I'm the depression recession word police.
You're adding more word salad in there. But ultimately, we're trying to figure out how to pay for it, and so a lot of people are struggling now with discretionary versus essential. That's something we always talk to especially getting close to retirement age. But now everybody's talking about it. Do I really need to pay for this, or can we maybe cancel that subscription or something?
Right. So, Cody, a couple things Jay said that caught my ear. Personal savings rate down substantially, right? Credit card debt up substantially. So as we look forward, what does that mean to our clients' financial strategies? Adjustments, not adjusting? What do we do?
Yeah, I think it's always good to maybe do a financial wellness check on yourself because adjusting needs to happen all the time. But do we have too many subscription services out there where maybe we could cut back because those essential expenses, they're just not going to go away. Your liquidity, how does that look as far as your cash reserves? If something were to happen, are you in a good place to weather that storm? Are you able to take advantage of the market being down? Are you maxing out your deferral into your 401k, making IRA contributions while the market's down? Those are things that in the long run can make a big difference for you. But really it's having a conversation, sitting at the table and maybe bringing the advisor in and making sure that money coming in or money going out is not more than the money coming in.
Right. Yeah, and I think managing personal debt, if credit card debt's begun to creep up, certainly if people didn't refinance before now, I think they're probably not refinancing now as these rates continue to climb. The Fed's going to have to turn around at some point and start lowering rates, but that doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. And I think the positive part of this, it's really kind of take a deep breath, right? Because of all this argument and fear and panic trying to be thrown out there relative to a recession, for the vast majority of our clients, it may be adjusting discretionary to essential. It may be shoring up reserves. Obviously, if someone runs into a job situation, that's a game changer in the near term. But I would even tell people that we heard some statistics a couple weeks ago that there's 2 open jobs for every unemployed person. So if something does happen, there is going to be an opportunity to get back to work. And the other thing I think to close out is there's been 11 recessions, official recessions since World War II, right? And you guys mentioned that the Great Recession, Jay, you did that, that took 18 months to get ourselves out of in 2007 through 2009. The average duration is 10 and a half months. Well, I feel like, practically speaking, we've been in one since before the new year. So that puts us 8 or 9 months. And if average is going to be somewhere close to this, that's a good thing. That's a good sign. Now, there's no guarantee there. Historically, the stock market can be a leading indicator of when we're coming out of recession. We've had a pretty tidy market the last 6-8 weeks. No guarantee, but things could be falling into place. On the flip side, we're talking about spending a little more money and taxation in some of these bills. But again, take a deep breath. I think you guys brought some great perspective to this. It's not the end of the world. We're going to get through this. Got any questions, please call our office. Use the text line. Call Jay, call Cody, call myself. We'll walk you through it. You got any friends or family that are concerned or confused, give us a buzz. And if not, we'll see you in September.